which now has been bought out by one of the other major large H1N1 flu vaccine manufacturers called Novartis. And so, yeah, but when you get to the heart of the beast and you see literally all of the fingers of the octopus emanating from New York City in this partnership, this trust that David Rockefeller and the royalty of Europe control through their main money managers and media manipulators, Rupert Murdoch on down, you begin to see what we're really facing here, a total scam. The whole thing shall fall apart as everyone, if everyone were simply to take this information, to read the affidavit, send the affidavit to law enforcement, to begin advancing the objections and the injunctions that are basically now obviously needed. Because
you believe this is the path to victory. You told me privately that it will just educate everyone about what's happening so the establishment may not move with this operation if they know the jig is up.
Well, here's what I'm going to predict. Again, I'm going to stick my neck out, and I pray that I'm not right. I pray that I'm wrong. But you see, they're so heavily invested, and they already have lost because it just came out in PubMed. I just posted it on fluscam.com on the latest news page. You can read it. You can link right to PubMed and see the study, where only 47% of doctors surveyed, that's medical doctors surveyed, would take the vaccine because the rest of them, the vast majority, are not going to allow it because of what you and I, what our colleagues all over, Dr. Tenpenny, Russell Blaylock, all of these heroes out there have been telling the truth, and the doctors now are picking up enough of the information to say, hey, I don't trust this for my family, myself, or my patients. So we've already won the majority. Now what I fear is that because they are so heavily invested in population reduction, population manipulation, and that they're going and this whole investment in biotech, what they're going to do is just like they did with 9/11. They're going to pull it. They're going to probably, if again my hunch is right, their only option is to loose something that's going to cause a local outbreak in a city such as L.A. or potentially even New York. And the mass media is going to jump on it. They're going to say we've got to issue mandatory vaccinations now. Sorry, folks, I know I said Barack Obama's going to say sorry. I know I said it was going to be voluntary, but under the circumstances now of this urgency and people dying, we've got to make it mandatory. Now you've got all the other pieces of evidence on your desk.
Well, they're already telling medical workers in New York and Europe and places they've got to take it. And they've already are trying to pass federal and state laws saying for quarantines under level 6, we're going to have forced inoculations. They've been drilling the military and police the last few years for that.
Well, that's exactly right. And this is the intelligence that you're receiving. I'm confirming. Others are confirming. So we're really looking at, again, the urgency is we'd like to be able to not have anybody show up to get vaccinated. But, again, that's not their agenda. Their agenda is to intoxicate and enslave humanity to drugs. It's very clear. Simply, if you watch the indoctrination taking place through the mainstream media on prime time, for a 60-second ad for drugs, you get 10 seconds of side effects, not because they're compelled by law, because they want to shape the attitude, the culture.
They want to
culture.
Tell me if I'm correct from your perspective. They knew Gardasil would kill people in the trials. They put it out, wanting to set the precedent that people die and nobody gets in trouble, and we just accept it. And they know the flu shot's going to kill and maim. Their own CDC documents say that. And then the Reuters had an article saying, yeah, millions are going to die, but people are going to say it's the vaccine, but it's not going to be the vaccine. So they're really just testing soft kill weapons out in the open, seeing if they can get away with it.
Right. And they're also totally suppressing all the alternatives. Total gross negligence. They could be recommending vitamin C. They could be recommending vitamin D. They could be recommending the silver hydrosols. Oxysilver is a perfect example. Total suppression. Instead of heralding the natural things that are low cost, no risk, highly effective alternatives to all of these hideous toxic waste that they're administering, they could be advancing true.
By the way, that's not just you. I've had scores of medical doctors on that just say 30 minutes of sun every day is way more powerful than any antiviral or vaccine.
Right. They just want to poison us and make money off of humanity's suffering.
Well, we're designed to be in the sun, just like a plant. I mean, we need sun, correct, doctor?
Absolutely. And I don't believe in sunblocks. I never use it myself.
Well, it's pure aluminum. We'll be right back with Dr. Lynn Horowitz and your calls.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done has been right.
This is the end.
Dr. Horowitz has big breaking news either tomorrow on the show or Thursday, but he'll be with us at noon Central tomorrow for another hour to get more into his affidavit and new developments. Right now, let's take some calls in this segment and the next. Then I have a guest coming on for about 10 minutes about government taking blood at warrantless checkpoints. That's coming up. Then I'm going to spend the whole last hour with your calls on the flu and the police state. Charlie in Texas, you're on the air with Dr. Lynn Horowitz. Go ahead.
Thank you, gentlemen. I was only calling to inform you that here in Texas, actually the Seton Network, or maybe I shouldn't say that. I happen to know someone.
Seton Network of hospitals. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I know someone that's being forced to take both shots that they're going to have available, or 3 shots, or whatever it is, or lose their job.
Yeah, they're quietly all over the country, and it's even been in some newspapers, ordering them to take it with no law. Dr. Horowitz?
Right. You have a religious and spiritual exemption. One of the attorneys we're working with is Alan Phillips. If you go to fluscam.com, you'll see a banner of his book, Vaccination Exemptions, his principal support now and instruction, and it's been ours. You know, I've been advancing the only ministry in the United States that's standing against the federal government as well as the state of Hawaii on our religious exemption. It's the only thing that we have available to us that really works, says Attorney Phillips. So you might want to just check out that book. It's an excellent book. It's a download off of fluscam.com.
And he needs to demand the law. There isn't one. Okay? They corner them quietly. They make them take it. It's absolute tyranny. They can tell their boss, look, just squirt that in the trash can then. Look, look, Obama's saying nobody has to take it, but all over they're telling police, firemen, and medical workers that they have to take it. Again, more lies.
Yeah. Well, again, it's official malfeasance if you have an administrator in a higher position that is compelling you to violate the United States Constitution, the First and the Fifth Amendments. You have freedom of religion, and it says both in Old and New Testaments. In fact, here's what I would recommend. On the publisher's website, tetrahedron.org, Alex, you might want to link to 2 files. They're to be stapled and attached to your vaccination exemption form that you must demand from all of these administrators, from the docs, from the hospitals, from the school administrators, whoever is demanding that you get vaccinated. Staple a copy of 2 documents. One is called Vaccination, the Ungodly Practice. The other is called What Jesus and Moses Would Say and Do About Vaccinations and Tuberculosis Skin Tests. Those are available in the vaccine folder of tetrahedron.org.
All right, let me stop you, Dr. Horowitz. Let me stop you because I want to get to some other calls. Charlie, is this a nurse or somebody you know that works there?
Yes, sir, I do. And as a matter of fact, one of the reasons I called, it doesn't look like she's going to be able to get out of it. She's been there for 15 years, but well, I was going to ask the doctor.
But I mean, how do they just order her like a slave to take something? I mean, can't she say, "Well, Obama says I don't have to take it"? Can't she go in there with on a DVD with a video of the president?
Well, possibly. But the reason I was calling is if she can't get out of it, what can she do after the fact that may help her? Is there anything that, if you have to take the shot, is there anything you can do to I don't know, expel it from your body or help?
Yeah,
the effects somehow, or
the best detoxification. Yeah, you're talking about now detoxification. We urge people not to get there, but if you have to, if you're forced to, the best detoxification remedies, I would highly recommend you check out what's on HealthyWorldStore.com. HealthyWorldStore.com has a product called Zeolife, not Zeolite. It's a far advanced generation beyond Zeolite, which is the standard medical chelation therapy. You want Zeolife, ZEOLIFE.net is the website. That if you use that is the best all-around detoxification agent. And if you also use what's been standard, the Stanley Burroughs Master Cleanser, the alkalinization of the blood, the bentonite clays to remove heavy metals. These are the types, and then the homeopathics, great homeopathics now, good homeopaths have been developing to help purge the toxins out of your body. So then there's the bioenergetics, the approaches that have been suppressed, like oxysilver.com has been suppressed. They're after all of these alternatives, and they don't want you to have them because they want you to be poisoned.
Dr. Horowitz, the caller's trying to pop in with one final comment. We're going to come back and jam in a few final calls. We've got to let Dr. Horowitz go. But what are you trying to say, Charlie?
I was only trying to say is I'm a long-time listener, and I do have some silver solution, but I can't get it.
That's good to have. Everybody should. Everybody
But let me
should
just
have.
say this, because we got a break. The Obama says you don't have to take it. He does that to make you feel good. Then behind the scenes, they're telling school kids, they're telling teachers, they're telling police, they're telling firemen, they're telling nurses, you got to take it or you're fired. It's criminal. It's color of law.